Good evening and happy Women's Day to you all. I'm Jorum Sonko with Winnie and Nakawuki on sign language. Many thanks for joining us. We're coming to you live from Block 42 Nile Avenue. But first, look at our top stories.
In business today, President Museveni highly rates agriculture over technology during Women's Day celebrations. Intensive practice has been suggested. Quarrying offers sanctuary to women, over 100 employed as they struggle to make amends. Government launches $200 million project for aviation expansion and modernization. More opportunities are anticipated.
And we kick it off with refurbishing the aviation sector. The government has launched a $200 million expansion and modernization program for the country's aviation industry. Upgrades to the airports and aviation infrastructure is likely to drive economic growth as more opportunities are availed. Martha Nimsima reports.
Different national transport infrastructure development programs have often addressed road network powered by renowned implementation agents such as UNRA. Government has, however, undertaken to launch an expansion and modernization project for national airports amounting to $200 million, which is expected to attract more investment, tourism, and job opportunities. According to Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, passenger traffic at Entebbe International Airport has grown by 9% annually over the past 5 years, and the airport is currently undergoing a major expansion project.
That one, it helps us to pick data, store data, and then know a lot about the aircraft after flight. In case of anything, it works as the heart of the aircraft.
Opportunities therein have opened up for gender equality, attracting engineers, pilots, and traffic controllers in the aviation sector. According to the Uganda Aviation School, the number of female students has increased in the recent years, with many women pursuing careers in traditionally male-dominated fields amid these challenges.
To embrace sciences so much, because for us we are biased. I will not tell you that go and do any course and you'll come here. No, we are science biased. Because what we do here is applied science. So the theory we do from wherever those tertiary institutions, the colleges, from secondary school, when we come here, we apply what we studied there and put it into real practice. Yes, I always say, whatever we are doing is not simple. Most of our work is labor intensive, so you actually need to be strong. So one of the greatest challenges we always find is maybe not having the strength to do certain things, but because we have our male counterparts who always help us in the heavy duty kind of work, so we also kind of balance it with giving them our brains. Other challenges are like in any other field for the female,
According to Uganda Investment Authority, foreign direct investment in the country has increased by 31% in 2020, with much of it going towards the military and aviation industries. Thus, more opportunities to take on. Martha Nimsima, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now let's focus on the International Women's Day celebrations. While celebrating Women's Day in Chirhura District, President Museveni has shifted from the day's theme on innovation and technology for gender equality and encourage women to learn and harness better farming practices, especially for cattle rearing, to transform household incomes. Rona Nahawe reports.
Women empowerment has been an overtime tool for economic growth and gender equality. In regard to the day's theme, Gender and Labour Minister Betty Among cites internet affordability as a challenge and further suggests supporting the education sector, even though it seems a long-term solution.
But those challenges and the gaps is why we are here today, to identify the challenges, the issue of affordability, the issue of access at rural area. But those can be addressed if we work as women to ensure that women and men have money, and once they have money, they will be able to buy the computers, they will be able to pay for internet, and our children will access internet.
From the progress made through farming in Western Uganda, President Museveni used the day to illustrate opportunity for women and to resort to decent farming methods that will not only decrease import bill on pesticides, but still yield better results. He further stated that technology cannot operate on land without finance being factored in.
Produced in Uganda has gone from 200 million liters per year to now 7.2 billion liters per year. Milk collection has improved tremendously, with players in the market rising from about 15 operators in 1986, collecting only 400,000 liters annually, to a total of 647 fully equipped milk collecting centers. Of the Americans in Texas, where the Ankole cattle they took from here had taken the first and the sixth positions as the best beef providers in the whole world. The Americans had taken some Ankole cows when they were helping us here with the tsetse flies. They took them to America, and when they put them in a competition of beef, one took the first position of beef in the whole world, of all the cattle of the world.
As the economy struggles to achieve the middle income status, it is imperative that women are equipped with technology and agricultural expertise for maximization of profits. Ronana Habwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now we talk matters green investment. As Uganda's waste load increases, averting mechanisms have been forged, giving room to green jobs and investment. Over 140 women are reported to be engaged in recycling and plastic waste collection in Kampala. The Green Economy Initiative anticipates sustainable development and equitable resource utilization. Naomi Mutumba reports.
Women are engaged in sorting out plastic waste, baling plastic waste, selling plastic waste, but also reusing plastic waste in form of making, assorted items that are being sold out in markets. For instance, kitchen vegetable gardens, flower.
With an estimated 600 tons of plastic volume produced daily and about 51% left uncollected, a critical environmental red flag for Kampala stands out. Just like Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, Uganda's capital is choking on municipal solid waste with the existing address mechanisms, such as landfills currently constrained. Humanitarian organizations have in response devised means to curb such challenges, involving women as vulnerable group to exploit opportunities availed therein.
In our activity engagements, we look majorly at how do we empower women as a vulnerable, left-out segment of community through giving them skills, through building their capacity so as to stand, to be self-reliant, in one way, but secondly, to be productive community members.
Uganda's Climate Change Commission understands well the challenge ahead proposed by the growing pollution load towards climate change, just as deliberations on climate financing were presented at the previously concluded Climate Forum.
Uganda will continue pursuing mitigation pathway in the updated NDC and explore ways of mobilizing support to meet our mitigation measures. Uganda's NDC costs about US dollars 28.1 billion, and that is quite big, so we really need to do a lot of resource mobilization.
The growing Green Job Initiative by humanitarian organizations has empowered individual community members to actively engage in the plastic waste market, offering dual benefits for environmental management and employment.
We get the plastic bottles. We make dust bins, whereby the dust bins are, instead of endangering our environment, we use the dust bins. We use, the bottles to make the dust bins, to collect rubbish
Despite the existence of environmental management and protection policies, for instance on waste and wetland management by agencies such as NEMA and numerous drafted penalties for breach of laws, stakeholders believe there is still great need to address compliance.
That we have quite a number of good policies, good laws, bylaws, but at the implementation they are never there. That you realize, for instance, in this activity of plastic waste recycling, we still lack a lot in as far as waste disposal is concerned.
Close to 4,000 tons of waste is believed to be nationally disposed, and just about 1,502, representing 33%, is collected and properly disposed. The rest lags in community drainage channels, and water bodies activating the drive for investment in upcycling and green jobs. Naomi Mtumba, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now let's talk tech and women industrialism. Equity in job distribution and economic progress has pushed members of Uganda's Parliamentary Women's Association to summon governments to invest in advancing gender equality in technology, innovation and education in the digital space. Samla Hanifa has more.
The International Women's Day was first celebrated in Uganda in 1984 before the annual trend. The day raises meditation about opportunities for the different stakeholders as they celebrate women's contribution to national development, as well as tracking progress on the implementation of gender equality, partly inspired by local initiatives such as Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program. According to members of WOPA, government should tilt its budget and focus on promoting women in science.
Currently, when you look at the ratios in education and everywhere, you realize that women who take up science subjects are few. And even when you come to the employment sector, we still have few women taking up high scientific jobs. So we as WOPA, we pledge to do more work to make sure that we have a budget that is engendered, a budget that will promote women.
As entrepreneurship becomes synonymous with technology, tech reception has largely been a myth among many women enterprises, especially with the growing internet and communication challenges on cost and adaptation. To the rural communities, WOPA members say many women and girls are challenged by access to the internet and technology as compared to men.
When accessing the laws that we make in Parliament on online, but because they cannot access internet, especially those in rural areas, there's a limit. Those are barriers we seek to challenge through legislation, through appropriation in budgets, parliamentary budget. So we are going to do more as WOPA.
Broadening science and technology uptake and skilling is highly hampered among females. According to Honorable Hope Granier, Uganda is still challenged by teenage pregnancy that cuts out potential scientists and entrepreneurs.
The name is teenage pregnancies. There are a number of girls who usually intend to pursue sciences, but if they get pregnant before the time that they aimed at getting pregnant, just know they will not complete education. So we have to address this challenge of teenage pregnancies in Uganda and the whole world. Uganda is one of the countries, actually it has the highest teenage pregnancy in East Africa with a rate of 25%.
Social norms and inclinations have additionally injured the charge of equity and observed from issues such as of female genital mutilation in the Sebei sub-region.
We still have challenges like FGM practice in the Kalenjin family, that means the Pokots, the Sabots, and part of the Sabines who do it stealthily and privately, and that affects directly a woman and a girl child.
This year's International Women's Day is celebrated on a global theme, advocating for digital innovation and technology. Samlanifa, Smart 24 TV.
All right, now, today being a special day to celebrate women and their contribution to society, the various issues pertaining gender imbalance have still been highlighted as drivers for major socioeconomic setbacks. Female stakeholders have joined forces to agitate for gender diversity to assume space in the technology industry. Brony Katusime discusses technology industry opportunities in this report.
Africa's reliance on net importation of technology and utilities despite a catalogue of resources largely points out the limited level of innovation and growth of related startups. The emerging technology industry presents fresh ground for investment, research and innovation that still could be exploited for the country's economic growth. However, women remain underrepresented in this field and the gender imbalance remains cause for worry.
I think the economy needs to develop in the sense that everybody should have access to digital financial services. The challenge with not having gender representation within the space, within the fintech space, is that one, products don't get developed with women in mind, which means it creates a barrier for women to use the products and definitely affects the development of the industry.
According to the World Economic Forum, women account for only 23% of Uganda's tech industry. 67% of the youths in developing countries have access to internet, with just 12% female. Such background has been paramount in the national drive to promote women participation in technology despite respective challenges.
Therefore, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is the key driver to the economy. There is no economy now that will grow in the next 5 to 10 years. You must move into the digital economy.
Among the many challenges to female involvement in the technology industry, a couple of these are pitched from the socioeconomic perspective. Cultural norms, lack of access to education and training opportunities, plus stereotypes inhibit participation in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. This has made it difficult for women to acquire the necessary skills.
I think some of the factors that create fear in women when it comes to tech is that they think it's this big, difficult thing. And then from, at a tender age, they've been told, sciences are hard, technology is hard. So we take that in, we internalize it, and we take it to be gospel truth. So I think the first step to demystifying that is showing women that you don't even have to have done technology to be a woman in tech. You can be a lawyer and be a woman in tech. You can pursue IP, intellectual property law, and look at cybersecurity law and things like that, and that makes you a woman in tech.
Lately, different organizations have taken on the burden to extend training and mentorship programs for women in tech. These initiatives are critical in bridging the gender gap and creating more opportunities for women and shifting the mentality towards the science field.
The encouragement to the women out there, the tech space is open. You do not have to be a software engineer necessarily, but for instance, I'm in marketing and communication, and I am in fintech as well and technology, and I've been able to understand the field and continue to grow in it. So the encouragement is that take up your space, join the tech space.
Full involvement in the science field is bound to be realized as efforts are mounted to bridge the gender gap and other limiting factors for equal participation and uptake of science and technology. Brania Katsime, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And well, of course, the theme for the Women's Day celebrations 2023 has been Dig It All, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. Rotating around those discussions. We still wish you a happy Women's Day to all the women out there. For now, Business Today does take a break. We'll return shortly with our coffee call discussions.
Smart24, driving business.
Your most loved entertainment.
We're up in the ante.
Upgrade your DSTV package and we'll boost you to the next higher package at no extra cost. If you're on Access and step up to Family, you get boosted to Compact.
You know what I mean.
If you're on Family, step up to Compact and we'll boost you to Compact Plus.
That's an absolute ripper.
And if you're on Compact, step up to Compact Plus. You'll get boosted to Premium.
It's gonna be lit.
Step up and we'll boost you even higher at no extra charge with DSTV.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Fun battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Capote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Capote deal and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Capote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN, regulated by UCC.
The taste of Uganda in a new international park.
He must be rich, tall, handsome, from a respectable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
Owa, obadde olobye ku ssimu?
Yamunange, anti yo TV enkolera.
Nyumirwa omulembe omupya ogujjudde ebisanyusa omuli emikutu gya TV egisukka mu 8 n'egya radio nga kwotadde ne zifirimu ng'osinziirira wonna w'oli. Genda mu App Store oteeke app ya UTV channels ku ssimu yo olwo onyumirwe ennaku 3 ng'olabira bwereere ewatali kozesa data.
UTV channels.
Smart24, driving business.
We'll be back from the break. You're still watching Business Today. It's a happy Women's Day from us to you. Now, tonight in the Coffee Court, Fred Makubia engages Damali Sali on breaking barriers to equity and women entrepreneurship as the world gathered earlier on to celebrate the International Women's Day. Of course, I did mention that the theme is basically a digital for all, innovation and technology for gender equality. Fred Makuya with more discussions.
Well, the journey towards self-development is not an event, it's a process. As Uganda joins the rest of the world to celebrate the Women's Day, we get in touch with a woman behind policy and programs at the Private Sector Foundation to help us digest the theme, but also fundamentally bring us to speed on what they're doing as Private Sector Foundation when it comes to matters of developing women in this country. Miss Damali Sali, I beg your pardon, is in charge of programs and policy at the Private Sector Foundation. Damali, it's a pleasure. Thank you for finding time to speak to us. Okay. How significant is your position as programs and policy maker at PSFU?
So at Private Sector Foundation Uganda, I am the Chief Programs and Projects Officer. So I oversee all the projects that Private Sector Foundation undertakes on behalf of development partners, on behalf of the government of Uganda. Because Private Sector Foundation is a policy, it's the apex body, private sector body in Uganda, and we do policy and advocacy as the primary work that we do. And we do policy and advocacy so that we can improve the business environment for our members, and then also for the general wider economy. So in doing so, naturally, we engage with the government players, the technocrats, we engage with the private sector, we engage with development partners. And in engaging with development partners, sometimes they do say, okay, fine, your private sector foundation, you've identified the gaps in the business environment, maybe you can do this initiative with us. So that's how I come in as the Chief Programs and Projects Officer, where I oversee all the projects that are done, funded by, supported by the development partners and PSFU to ensure that we can support the general economy. And our projects are not tied necessarily to members. Naturally, they help our members first, but they help anyone and everyone who is within that project objective.
And just to be specific, which particular projects are you working on, particularly that target women in this country?
The target women. Okay, for example, we are working in partnership with MasterCard Foundation. We are working on a project called the Lead Farm Structure. This project works with large companies, say like Mukwano or Movit, and we support them to further scale their business. But in scaling, they must employ young people below the age of 35. 70% of these young people that they must employ must be women. That's purely targeted to that. Another project that we are that is actually being launched today in Kiruhura is called GROW, which is generating growth opportunities for women. And this is in partnership with the World Bank and the government of Uganda. We are going to be implementing it, and it's purely targeting women entrepreneurs only. And it's going to be supporting them on access to finance, training, sensitization, and digitization, so that they can use the digital economy, digital space, and be able to buy and sell their goods there. Then access to finance is to enable them. Women inherently suffer from the inability to access, money through banks. So this project is supposed to ensure that they provide funds within financial institutions that women entrepreneurs can access through this project.
70% women. What sort of discrimination is this, Damali?
It isn't discrimination.
And
30% men. So it isn't. I would say I'll call it positive discrimination. We're trying to ensure that the women in our economy are gainfully employed in their economy. So that's why we're trying to balance that. So it's not inherently women are less employed. So that's why we're trying to balance that. Women form 50% of our population, 51% actually of Uganda's population is women. We are the majority. We are more than the men in the economy. But we are not in the employment economy, and yet we should be contributing significantly to the economy. So that's why now for this project we're trying to shift that balance. We're not cutting the men out, 30% must be men, but we're trying to ensure more women are employed, and it's a targeted intervention to ensure more women are employed so that they can become economically empowered. And remember that when a woman has a disposable income, she spends 60% of that income putting it back in the business, 40% she spends it on her children for education, health and food. That is a socio-economic development naturally. So if you have more women with more disposable income, you're going to have our young children educated, clothed, healthy, and therefore growing up into human beings that can contribute to the general economy. So it's good for the entire country when women are employed and have a disposable income.
So this is a very significant day.
Yes.
How significant is it?
I think it's very significant in that it's focusing on women, and it is to showcase and appreciate, I hope, to showcase and appreciate women. And it's important that we do that, because most times you find that in the mainstream, women are not necessarily there. You won't find, say, if you look at the top 10 CEOs in the tech space in Uganda, for example, when the women are there, they're not given as much shine as when the guys are there.
Talk about the 10.
The top 10.
At your disposal. At your disposal. Who are these, Damali?
So we have, in the fintech space, for example, we have a lady who does pivot. She's Chimbogwe. And she does pivot. It is able to enable people in Dubai, Ugandans in Dubai, in the Arab Emirates, basically, to be able to transfer money, because they're always sending money to Uganda. So with this fintech app that she does have, it enables them to seamlessly transfer money or send money from there to Uganda. That's huge. It's contributing to the economic development. It's an FDI, actually, from our expatriates. She's doing this and she's successful. She's huge, but you won't see her be given as much airtime as she really should be.
So who should
if you
provide
compare
that position or that platform?
The media, mainstream media. But mainstream media most times is politics and sports. It is politics and sports, that's it. So we need to ensure that the women who are in the economy, who are doing stuff, are showcased, they're highlighted. Because you see, a young girl, when she sees maybe Damali Sali in front of smart TV talking, she will say, that's interesting, I want to do that, and I want to do more. But if she doesn't see any females as frequently, she doesn't think she can do it. So we need to ensure that the few females who are in these spaces are really given that limelight continuously, not just on Women's Day. It should be continuous. It shouldn't be that we get one day to highlight women. It should be a deliberate effort that we take to highlight women so that we can change the mindset of ourselves. First of all, we have our own inherent biases ourselves, but then also the young people that who are trying to come up, so that they have someone that they can emulate, someone that they can say, I want to be greater than that person actually, and therefore they have an inspiration or a target to go to.
In your preamble, you said 49% of the population of this country are occupied by female.
51%.
51%.
Yes.
You actually occupy
we're the majority. We are more.
But
than
we have many women who have not gone through a period of self-discovery, development and self-deployment. How do we help such women who are still struggling to actually discover who they are, develop who they are, and put into practice what they've discovered and developed?
I think we can do several programs that are focusing on ensuring that they see inspiration, because you usually become what you see. If you're exposed to mediocrity, you will become a mediocre too. So we need to expose them to more excellence. They need to see that much more frequently than not. But then also they need to be allowed to dream. So if you have a daughter, you have a niece, you have a sister. If they come to you and they're telling you, you know what, I want to become a coder, I want to become a developer, I want to drive that truck actually, I want to go on a construction site and drive that tractor because it doesn't require physical energy.
For a woman?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes, you should
drive a truck?
Why not? It doesn't require physical energy, it's just your brain.
Sure.
So why can you not drive it? So if your daughter comes to you, now I can see that if your daughter came to you and told you, Daddy, I want to go and drive that tractor on a construction site, you'll probably say no. And yet you should say yes. You should allow her to explore.
She's positioned to do something else.
But she's told you, she's said, I want to drive a tractor on a construction site. It doesn't require physical energy, it requires my brain. And I can do it because everybody has a brain. They're not only in men.
There's a school of thought
we should be able to allow them to explore anything.
You've heard of a school of thought that certain jobs are for particular people, especially the men. Your take on this?
I don't believe so.
Why?
If it's a physically demanding job that a woman can't physically do, then I would accept that. But if it's a job that requires your brain, all of us have brains. Men and women have brains. So we can do any job that requires just the brain.
Like which jobs in particular, to be in particular?
Any job. You can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, you can be a coder, you can be a driver or a large tractor. You can. It's not impossible.
Do you think women are given the right positions in this country? Are they rightly positioned to cause influence when it comes to matters of nation building?
I think as a nation, we are probably trying. The vice president position is filled by a woman. The prime minister is a female. In the business space, you can see Ann Juko, for example. She's heading one of the largest banks in the country. I think MTN now has a lady who is a leader. So we do have women actually in the sectors. It's just that we need to appreciate them more, give them more visibility so other people can see them. Now, I know these women because I'm in this space, but does my cousin who is in Luwero, where my village is, know about these women? No, she doesn't, because she doesn't see them on, say, the TVs that she's watching. She doesn't hear about them on the radio that she's, listening to. So we need to make sure that we have more images of women who are successful thrown out there, so that we don't have to really be in the space to know that, oh, Damaris Ali exists because I am in the media and I see her. It should be that, anyone can see these successful women.
Damali, the theme is about digital innovation and technology for gender equality. How significant is such a theme to such an important day like this?
I think it's a very, very critical theme. If you look at one of the indicators for poverty reduction, one of the criteria for poverty reduction, it includes digitization. Digitization enables financial inclusion. Say, for example, if a lady in the village has even a feature phone, a kabiriti, she automatically, as soon as she gets a line, an Airtel or MTN line, she automatically gets a digital wallet, which means she can be digitized. She can easily be pulled into the digital economy. Once she's pulled into the digital economy with that, just that capability, it means that she can actually transact, she can trade, she can access services that require digital movement. So we need to ensure that we can digitize our entire country. But to do so, we need to ensure that the person who is the muntu wa bulijjo can access a phone, a handset, even if it's a feature phone. If a smartphone, better, but sometimes they just require a feature phone. Anyone can actually buy and send and receive mobile money, whether you're literate or not. You don't require literacy to do that. So we need to ensure that that is important. Because you see, in Uganda, for example, we have all the technology we need. All the technology we need to be, to be a digital economy. To be a digital economy, we do have that. But you'll find that 90% of our transactions are in cash. Why is that? Because it's expensive to actually transact through the digital economy. If I go to Kalere and buy my tomatoes from that lady of 10K, and I ask her, I want to give you mobile money, pay by mobile money, she'll say no, because they will charge her 500K. For her, 500K is a lot. For me, it's not. But she is the majority of the economy. So she will continue to transact in cash, which means 90% of our economy stays in cash. When you have a cash economy, you can't really develop that much because it curtails, it slows down how fast you can move services, how quickly you can identify that person. If she's transacting in cash, you can't even know that actually she makes enough money for me to give her credit. She makes enough money for me to develop a financial solution for her. So we need to ensure that we digitize as a country. We need to digitize. That will help financial inclusion. It will help women's economic empowerment, but even young men's economic empowerment, everyone's economic empowerment.
Your recommendation to the head of state as we plan to come to the climax of this very good interview.
I think I want to commend him for putting to the forefront a lot of women. I can see a lot of women in the political space.
Sure, he's put the women to the forefront. He's
appointed. The vice president is a woman. The prime minister is a woman. We have ministers who are women. So you can see women actually in the political space, come to think of it, which is where he does, make the appointments. So that's great. I would implore him to push forward the digitization of the country, because it will help in empowering people, empowering young people actually, even because you find that even young men buy and sell stuff online. So if we empower everyone, it ensures that we reduce poverty, ensure we have an economy that's inclusive. It actually creates jobs. Our biggest problems is jobs. But if someone has any Ugandan who is smart enough, has a smartphone, they can actually buy and sell. They can sell their knowledge, their service online. You have a lot of people who are making money out of being influencers. They're just using their brains on the phone. But now they don't need a job. They're not unemployed. They're making their own money. They're not a burden to their family. They're actually now contributing to the economy. They're consuming. We are charging them VAT on everything that they consume. So we need to digitize the economy, and that would be great if we could do that.
Your final parting shot is, as we get out of this interview, Damali.
I think I want to implore all Ugandans. Private Sector Foundation is doing what we're calling Private Sector Women's Day Katale in partnership with MasterCard Foundation. It's going to be at Uma Multipurpose Hall on Friday and Saturday. We are celebrating women entrepreneurs. Women entrepreneurs, 150 of them are going to be exhibiting their goods and services at Uma. For entrance is free. I implore you to come and support them. Anyone, especially men, you have a lot of money, so please do come buy those services. But also URSB, URA, and UNBS are going to be there. So you can't register your company even if you just walk in. You can get a tin even if you just walk in. So that service is going to be available to you. And then also regarding jobs, with MasterCard Foundation, that lead farm structure project that I was telling you about, where we work with these companies to hire young people. These companies, 36 of them, are going to be there for these 2 days. And they will be onboarding, looking for people to hire and onboard. So if you're a young person who wants to get a job, male or female, you come to Umma 2 days. And the exhibition stops at 6 p.m. say on Friday, and from 6 to 9 p.m. we will be doing entertainment. On Saturday, same, 6 to 9 p.m. we'll be doing entertainment. So I encourage you, all of you, to come.
Thank you so much for finding time to speak to us, especially on this very fundamental day for the women out there. And this is the Coffee Court, where we talk about critical issues, especially critical matters that bring economic development into this country. My name is Fred Makubuya.
All right, and there's a coffee court of more to do with women and the women in business, especially as we continue to push for financial inclusion and as well as a digital drive to make equity something more realistic within our country. Now, besides that, let's head to Kabale as details coming in from here show jobs unearthed in stone quarrying. The Kabale informal sector has been exhibited to offer employment opportunities to women, even in the past emergent sectors such as stone quarrying, which are over 100 and are attached in search for income. We continue to discuss women in business, even in this report.
At Jorum Stone Quarry in Northern Division, Kabale Municipality along Kabale Lake Bunyonyi, over 100 women are enrolled in stone quarrying, a hard labor job mainly dominated by men and crucial to the growing construction industry. 62-year-old Twesije Mukama Goreti, a resident of Jorum, has worked in the stone quarry for 26 years, forging means for self-sustainability.
Here I am at this stone quarry, sending some money to get food and school fees for my children. We don't have where to dig because the soil is you can see by the look of it, it's only trees around this area.
Twesije confirms that stone quarrying is the only known principal income activity in the area at the backdrop of challenges such as land infertility and shortage in Kabale district.
We really face some challenges when we that means we don't get to have
Jinda Tukamushava, a mother of 3 and resident of Nyavikoni Ward in Kabale Municipality, calls upon government to support the community through capital extension and still transform the industry too, as well as pool tourism.
We see tourists coming to Lake Bunyonyi almost on a daily, so we are requesting that this quarry could be made a tourist site so that we could earn from it as well.
The Kabale District Vice Chairperson Miria Tugumia Kankwasa expressed joy as they join other countries to celebrate Women's Day, but still advocating for the need to involve women in the digital era. She promised to lobby for funds and equipment for women in the quarry from the government.
Tulina bachara abajedeze okukora kuruga enyima bakekozesa ebintu byo twatulamaye ngu nebyabashija kusha.
Women in Jorum have done a tremendous job to involve themselves in activities which many thought was for men. This helped these women to provide for their families.
Aregura amabare arakura amabare oshanga ari kuhonda kandi atunge mentunguka ayama kasete ahera abana babo.
Today, national celebrations were held at Karo Secondary School, Chirhura District, highlighting inclusive technology and innovation for women amidst employment challenges that largely strike the informal sector. Marcia Katsime, Norbert Nyamhachi for Smart 24 TV Business.
And now as we come to the end of business today, let's have a recap of our top stories.
In business today, President Museveni highly rates agriculture over technology during Women's Day celebrations. Intensive practice has been suggested. Quarrying offers sanctuary to women, over 100 employed as they struggle to make amends. Government launches $200 million project for aviation expansion and modernization. More opportunities are anticipated.
Right, many thanks for being part of business today. To all the women in business and all women in leadership, we continue to celebrate you and wish you all the best for your day. I'm Jorum, Sonko, and of course with the lady on the sign language, Winnie and Nakawuki. Have a good night and a good evening.
Smart 24, driving business.